Welcome back to the End of the Fourth Football Podcast. It is me, your host, B-Hizzy, aka Brendan Hurst. And as always, I am joined by the fantastic Prez, The Prez, Chris Mooney. How are you doing, man?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Well, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. Unfortunately, there was apparently there was a football game on Thursday night. I'm not too sure I believe it yet. It took us over a day longer to actually, bring up the guts to go and talk about it. So here we are. Bears Commanders.
Did you watch it?
I watched the highlights.
I watched every snap.
Yes. You have a loyalty card from Roger Goodell.
Oh, honestly.
Super Bowl VIP passes for the two of us just because you watched every snap.
Oh, honestly. I mean, like, that's now the last 2 Thursdays that I've watched every single snap.
I'd have given up. I'd have gone to sleep. I know you were working, but I'd actually gone to do work with the residents.
Oh, honestly. Just go wake folk up.
Aye. You could put them straight back to sleep again. Just put them in front of the TV and watch this.
Honestly.
Well, thankfully, the Thursday night football slate looks to be getting a little bit better and starting next week with Cardinals Saints. But unfortunately, we do have to talk about this stinkfest, which was the Commanders Bears at Soldier Field, if I'm not incorrect.
It was, yes.
Yes. The Commanders won 12-7. Well, at least there was a touchdown in this one. It was two. There was two.
Yeah.
So we have that at least.
Over the course of the game was crap. It was crap.
Yeah. I woke up kind of in the middle of the night going into Friday just from a message from you that said, "This is shit."
I do apologize, mate, if I woke you up. I do apologize.
No. I woke up because the little gentleman's room calls in the middle of the night. You know how it is. But
honestly, I was sitting watching it going, I'm missing Road Wars for this, honestly.
Yeah. It's one of those things, and it's like, you get, I said it last week after when the Broncos Colts reviews, like, it's somebody's in a position like you, never really, at work, but they've never really watched American football before, so they're thinking, well, I just want something to put on. I'll put on American football, and they see that and they think, I'm never going to watch American football again. It's the worst thing I've ever seen, because that is just atrocious. But well, we need to get into the nitty-gritty of it. Let's start. I thought that the Commanders' run game was actually effective when it needed to be. It wasn't superb. It wasn't really bad, but it was good. And in particular, Brian Robinson, the rookie for Washington, he didn't have any big time runs. He did have a 16-yard dash at one point, but nothing really breaking off, down the sideline, that kind of thing. But he was the difference as he had 17 carries for 60 yards and a score. And that's the first of his career, which is good for him. But this is more impressive when you remember he was shot in the leg multiple times in late August. So to be here middle of, less than 2 months later, balling out on Thursday Night Football.
42 days.
Yeah, there you go. So, good for him. And the Commanders, obviously, run game is definitely their strength. That feels like that was kind of two offenses which were looking to be run heavy, and the Commanders' run offense came out on top.
I mean, over the course of the game, I actually felt Chicago was unlucky.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Fields, I actually feel for him because he's got nothing to throw to. And then, so he can run. And I mean, that run near the end before that final play, I mean, he's 4 yards from the end zone to win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to pick a highlight of the game or a play of the game, it would have to be Montez Sweat on the defensive side of the ball. The amount of times that he put Fields under pressure, or even Roquan Smith had a great game as well for the Bears defense. I actually thought that Justin Fields moving the pocket.
Yeah,
they actually looked good.
Yeah. That's what I want to talk about as well, as with like Justin Fields. I think that he is actually doing all he can. And that may come as a surprise to, people considering I'm a Packers fan. He is making bad mistakes. He did so early with a pretty terrible decision to try and fit the ball through, like a millimeter, essentially. The ball blasted off. I think it was one of his linemen's heads, straight up to the air. Washington defense swallows that right up. So, bad decision there. But try and show me, a young quarterback that's in a bad situation like Justin Fields that isn't making mistakes similar to that magnitude, where it's like, you think if he's in the league 10 years, that even 5 years, he doesn't take that chance. I don't think he's getting a lot of help, for one thing. I think the defense let him down last week versus the Vikings. He helped them get back into the game. And they took the lead at one point, if I'm not incorrect, against the Vikings.
I think they did, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did. Receivers made big drops in this one. Darnell Mooney right at the end. He could have if he'd held on, we'd be talking about a 13-12 win for the Bears here. So
to be fair though, with the Darnell Mooney thing, he's not even got control of it. I know he's hit, but he's not. At no point did he have control of it. So it's not even a case of you can say it was great defense from the Commanders.
Yeah.
But Washington got the win.
Yeah.
To keep them sort of alive in the NFC East. I know
it's a tall ask to come back from this, even at 2 and they're essentially, I think, because they lost to the Eagles, and did they lose to the Giants or Cowboys as well? Or they not played them yet?
I don't think they played them yet.
I don't think they played them yet, but essentially they are 4 games out right now.
No, I don't think. I'm not saying they'll win the division. I'm just saying the best chance, I think, is a wild card.
It might be some turnaround if the Washington team Commanders can do this. I'm so used to saying team because I refused to say the R word for so long, and then football team, and so it made sense. But yeah, regardless, bad news for the Commanders is Carson Wentz came out of this game with a fractured finger on his right hand, so his status is up in the air.
Wentz, he's undefeated on Thursday nights. He's never lost.
7-0 on Thursday Night Football, which is the best since 2006.
So apparently, according to Roger Goodell, all Washington games are getting played on Thursdays.
No. But yeah, so he's going to go and see a hand specialist in LA. You think that finger's probably going to get pinned, but because it's on his thrown hand, you just got to wonder, does he miss even one game just to like get it right?
Who's the backup?
Is it Taylor Heineke? Let's have a look. Let's fact check that. Yes, Taylor Heineke. Yeah, because Sam Hill's out for the season.
He's at least he can play.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? They won. Did they not? No, they didn't win the division with him a couple of years ago. He played in the playoff game and he played pretty well.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Carson Wentz wasn't great, for one thing, in this game. 99 passing yards, a QBR of 22.5. I don't like that metric, for one thing, QBR. I prefer passer rating. But it's becoming a bit of a problem. We're seeing this is now what we see from Carson Wentz is, I don't think we could ever really expect him to get to the highs of what he used to be, unfortunately.
No, definitely not. But Washington got the win, and hopefully Sunday games are better to review.
Yes, the less said about this one, the better. Right, we'll get out here and then we're back. We will after a short break, we will talk about the games on the Sunday slate. Another Sunday is done in the NFL. Week 6 is almost over. We have Monday Night Football tonight, but we're going to touch 7 games today. And we'll start with Patriots-Browns, with the Patriots winning 38-15. What was your takeaways?
Bailey Zappi can play.
I
mean, we all thought that he would come in and he would be like any other Patriots backup. They come in, they have a stinker, and then as soon as Mac Jones is fit, he'll be punted and Mac Jones will come in. By the way, I would stick with Bailey Zappi for the moment. Kid can play, and again, the running game as well is keeping them in it.
Yeah. Bailey Zappi he went, on you go.
That's the most important thing is when your quarterback can't throw elite. I'm not saying the boy's not elite, but when your quarterback's not fantastic, then you have to do something different. And running the football is the Patriots' strength.
You know, they haven't let the loss of Damian Harris kind of bog down the running game. They've seen Ramondre Stevenson's been quite a good, has filled in pretty well, taking over the role pretty much full time. But no, I have to agree with you. Bailey Zappi was great. 24 for 34, 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he had 7 third down conversions on 14 attempts, which is really good. And he's held down the fort very well while Mac Jones continues to recover from this injury. And you've got to wonder whether, like you say, just don't rush Mac Jones back. Let him, heal up 100% and get him back and ready for, is it out of the is it crazy to suggest the Patriots could make the playoffs, considering what we've seen a couple of weeks ago?
See, the thing is, they probably could, and they're not going to win a division. You have to be realistic. Yeah. But there's no issue with sneaking in the back door. I don't have an issue with anything wanting to sneak in the back door.
Exactly. On with the Browns, we need to talk about the Browns, the other team. I think Brissett fever is over. 21 for 45, 266 yards, touchdown, 2 picks and a lost fumble. Was the final line on his worst performance so far this season. It was against a great defense. Let's be fair here, right? They only allowed, the Patriots defense was excellent. They only allowed 70 rushing yards. And maybe part of that was down to the fact the Browns abandoned the run game too early, put it all on Brissett's shoulders. And he's not a quarterback that can do that. He can complement the strong parts of your offense. We've said that kind of all off season. I think he's probably able to hold he's able to keep the boat floating while they wait for Deshaun Watson to come back. But, he's not a guy that you can fling it all on his shoulders and ask him to win you the game. The Patriots defense, they only allowed 4 conversions on 15 third downs faced, and they forced several key turnovers. I think that this defense, when you look at the Patriots roster and what people were saying is, who is he going to throw to? What are they going to do? But, they've proved everybody wrong again. And I think it's still down to Bill Belichick just always being able to game plan.
Exactly. I'm going to describe Jacoby Brissett as a superhero. Patrick Mahomes is Superman. Josh Allen's Batman. When he's on his day, Aaron Rodgers, right, is Iron Man. Jacoby Brissett is Aquaman.
Yeah.
Can't do anything on land, but put him in the water and he's awesome. Everything and he's brilliant. But put him on the land thing and he's useless.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a wee superhero
analogy. I like it.
Yeah, I've been looking for that one.
We'll go with it. We'll roll with it. I think it works. But yeah, no, good win for the Patriots. Kind of all over really the past 2 weeks. Just has been, and even to be honest, even the last 3 weeks has just proved that no coach is more valuable to their team than Bill Belichick.
Bailey Zappi, MVP.
MVP. Yep. Are we on the Bailey Zappi hype train? I'm gonna keep rolling with it.
Anyway.
Let's keep rolling. We have an upset in the Bay Area where the Falcons ran out 28-14 winners over the San Francisco 49ers. And I thought that Marcus Mariota had a very good game in such a limited role. He went 13 for 14, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also ran for 50 yards and had a score. They're playing to his strengths, right? And that wasn't any clearer than when he started the game with an 11-play, 74-yard touchdown drive against this 49ers top-ranked defense in the league.
Do you know, it was a fantastic performance by both sides of the ball for Atlanta. I was still very confused with that touchdown in the end zone. I was getting confused, but do you know, I think, how the hell can Atlanta be top of the NFC South?
I know. Are they top? Is it?
They're joint top. They're 3-3, and the Bucks are 3-3.
Oh my goodness! I mean, it's impressive. Arthur Smith's doing a really good job. Like, this is how a limited offense should be operating. Green Bay, they should be operating this way as they're playing to their strengths, and they're having guys fill in roles, and they're getting everybody involved, and they're not just favoring people. You've got like Taylor Algier and Caleb Huntley doing a really, really good job in absence of Cordell Patterson. This is 49ers across the board in the pick'ems. You, me, and the guests, because I just didn't see how there was any way the 49ers would lose this game at home to a Falcons team, which has been, let's be fair, impressive, but, when it all kind of starts with, the offensive production, the offensive line, and the quarterback, it's been limited, but sure enough, limited, maybe the new unlimited.
That is it.
Mm-hmm. I thought that I know you don't like giving excuses for injuries, but the 49ers, again, I think this was the third year in a row, are decimated with injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball. No Nick Bosa, no Eric Armstead, no Javon Kinlaw, and no Emmanuel Mosley. It's the first time this season.
Ward.
What's that?
No Jimmy Ward.
Yep, of course.
No kicker.
Yeah, basically, aye. It's the first time this season they'd given up 20 points, and I think that all those absences showed. I just thought that, they'd been, the defense still has, they're coached well. The offense is steady, and there's a reason they're top of the NFC, or they were top of the NFC West. And you think that they'd be able to handle this Falcons team, but clearly not.
Now they're joint top, which makes next week interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next week with the NFC West is the Rams have got a week off.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers have the Chiefs.
Mm.
Seattle have your boyfriend Justin Herbert. And Arizona's on Thursday night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it could come down to the punch that all the three teams playing could all be sitting 3-4.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that would be the best division of football.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of just to kind of sum this game off, I thought the San Francisco turnovers were just too much for them to handle. Jeff Wilson lost a fumble, and Jimmy G threw 2 picks, including one in the fourth, which kind of really just ended all offensive momentum. They didn't really look like they were going to be able to come out of that hole, and sure enough, they didn't.
Yes.
So yeah, good win for the Falcons. They're definitely a sneaky good team, and we could see them sneak into the back door. Owen said he pinched hit for you on our NFC South preview show in the offseason. And he said the Falcons finished second in this division. So did he know before anybody else knew? Well, you knew more than me. I said the Falcons were gonna. Sorry, the Panthers were gonna sneak in the second side of this division. So,
well, let's see how it ends.
That's it. Right. Let's do it. Jets 27, Packers 10, and I'll let you speak, but. I need to get this off my chest. All right. I said last week that I did think that the Packers would figure things out. Now I'm not too sure. And I'm disappointed that it's come after a loss in this fashion, that it's taken me to realize this, because really, I think obviously it was in the back of my mind the Jets could win this, and I did have them to cover, which of course they did, because they did win. It was in the back of my mind that the Jets could win this one. And really, it should have been more plausible than a lot of people gave it credit. A lot of people, obviously, again, Packers across the board for the pick'ems on this one. But I think you pay attention to the Jets' strengths and the Packers' weaknesses, and it's glaringly obvious the Jets were probably going to win this one. Let me start with Quinnen Williams, right? Aaron Donald has a Quinnen Williams poster in his room. Right, Quinnen Williams jersey, everything. I've never seen Aaron Donald play at a rate that Quinnen Williams played in this game yesterday. he had an answer for everything the Packers tried to throw his way. 2 sacks, 3 QB hits, 2 tackles for loss, and a blocked field goal attempt. And, you know, like, you know, you can put it down to whatever you like on the Packers offense. You know, where it's the offensive line, which I'm going to get onto in a second, was very, very poor yesterday. Aaron Rodgers was very, very poor yesterday. But, you know, when you've got somebody who, like Quinn Williams, who's a game wrecker and is going into an offense which is in a tailspin, you've got to think whether that is like such a surprise. Now, Packers offense, let's get onto that side. I don't think this has ever been worse since I started following. You know, you look at 2015, and they didn't have Jordan. This was the first year I followed them, 2015. They didn't have Jordan Nelson for the season. The year 2017, which Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone, Brett Hundley played. But, you know, the run game was there in that season, so I'm not going to count that one. 2018, Aaron Rodgers was hurt, but just couldn't really get anything going. 2019, first year in the LaFleur system. Again, you know, the numbers Aaron Rodgers put up at the end of the year weren't him, but, you know, it's you know, regardless, they failed to pick up a stunt several times, had no answers for Quinn Williams. Royce Newman was the worst defender on this offensive line for sure. But Elton Jenkins was very bad as well. He's a Pro Bowler, but he committed far too many penalties. But I put it down to this, right? This isn't just a Devontae Adams not being their problem. Aaron Jones had 12 touches on 13 offensive possessions for the Packers. And you just think, why? You know, Matt LaFleur says every week when Aaron Jones doesn't get enough influence in the game. You look at week 2, the game against the Bears, Aaron Jones, you know, had 184 yards and, you know, 3 touchdowns or something like that, right? So, you know, when Matt LaFleur says after the game, it's not good enough that we didn't get Aaron Jones enough touches, but the same thing happens every time the offense looks, you know, like a high school offense, right? I just sit and wonder, did Aaron Jones goose LaFleur's misses? I can't think of any other reason why he's been so frozen out of this offense. And you think, you know, the offensive line can't block for, you know, whatever, and Aaron Jones has to be put in pass pro, which is fair enough, right? But, you know, give me a break. Give the Packers fans a break. Don't just offer up the same thing. Give an explanation as to why he's been frozen out. Is he hurt? All right, fair enough. Sit him. But Aaron, you know, when you look at AJ Dillon yesterday, looked like he was running through cement, and he tries to do the jump cut, but he doesn't have the agility that Aaron Jones has. AJ Dillon's your bulldozer. You push with AJ Dillon, right?
Yep.
Aaron Jones is your agility guy. You can bounce out to the offside. He makes a move, makes the guy miss, that kind of thing. And you know, like, just, I want Matt LaFleur to come out and just give us a break and give us answers. Why is he not being utilized? He's our best defensive player. Why is he not being utilized in the way he should be? This is from Noi12 on Reddit. So well done to him. I know he'll never listen, but regardless, over the past, 6 quarters of Packers football, the offense has punted 8 times. They've missed a field goal, had 3 turnovers on downs, lost a fumble, and had a block punt returned for a touchdown. They've also only scored 10 points. That kind of offensive futility will break the back every other unit on the team. You know, you look at the defense started this game pretty well. The Jets didn't convert a third down until their last drive. And that's just, you know, it's what it is. Special teams, again, they started okay, regardless of the blocked field goal. Doesn't really matter to me. It's a 10-point swing when you look at what the special teams did. But when the offensive futility is there with, you know, the Bears and the Panthers and what we'd seen from the Steelers, it's so strange, especially when you consider you've got a 4-time MVP at quarterback, and it's so much worse than what I could have expected. I'll be completely honest with it. But I say this is more than a Devontae Adams not being their issue. I'll finish this up, right? I say these next 3 games are the most important stretch of Matt LaFleur's tenure. We need to see how he kind of spark this team to respond to this adversity. We're going to see. What's that?
What's your next 3?
So we've got the Commanders. No, that's in 4 weeks. That's in 4 weeks. So we've got the Commanders next week. We've got the Bills on Sunday Night Football in 2 weeks' time, and the Lions. Anything less than 2-1, you've got to think this team just isn't good enough for the playoffs, really. So we need to see what LaFleur can do. This is the first bit of adversity he's had to face in his Packers tenure. Rodgers has experienced it before, but Matt LaFleur hasn't. So we'll see how it's going to work. And I'm not giving Aaron Rodgers a pass for the sore thumb, right? You're on the field, you're playing. Yeah, maybe it hurts, but deal with it. If you're on the field, you've got no excuses, I'm afraid.
Now, the way I see it, it's the same in British football. If you're on the bench, you're fit to play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know. However, can I now speak? I've been wanting to speak.
Yes, I'm sorry, but I needed to rant.
The Packers have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They need to sort this out. This is nothing more than a shit show.
Mm-hmm. No swearing on the podcast.
So there you go, give you into trouble.
This is getting me tight. I've not even done it. But I watched it yesterday. I thought it was a dead ringer for Thursday night football.
Mm-hmm.
It was like not after about 2 quarters. I was like
something like that. It was 3-3 at halftime. That tells you everything.
How can you sit through that and watch that? I
know.
I'd have been slashing my wrists.
I mean, it's like you look at the futility and how the Packers were so poor, but then you look at the tempo and how they went with it in the 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. And yeah, I think the Jets were probably expecting a deep shot. And this is how both teams, the Jets and the Jets and the Giants, have beaten the Packers the past 2 weeks, with basically daring Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball downfield. They don't respect the defenses are not respecting the Packers wide receivers, and in turn they're basically able to run commit because they know that the Packers receivers aren't really going to pose much of a threat.
Exactly. That's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now we still have what week we're on? We're on week 6. Week 6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you've got 2 weeks till the trade deadline goes bang.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you looking for?
I mean, it's got to be somebody. You got to bring in several people, to be honest. I think DJ Moore has to be up there. Robbie Anderson's apparently for sale by the Panthers.
Beckham.
You've got to give OBJ a call. Just say, look, I don't think there was talk saying, obviously, I think he wants to go back to the Rams, but does he really with the state of that offense? But I mean, to be honest, could you blame him for not wanting to come to the Packers? I think OBJ, unless the money is impossible to turn down, he ends up on a team like the Bills or something like that.
Do you phone up the Raiders and ask for Devontae Adams back?
Well, no, because I have committed to selling that same jersey now. So it's actually going. I'm going to put it up for sale right after we finish recording right now. So,
but no, there's a lot of issues, and
it's
I think.
Problem.
Well, I said on one of the shows in the off season that if you were going to make the playoffs, you would be sneaking in the back door as a wild card, and I'm sticking by it. I think you'll probably have to bleep this out when it goes live, but when you take this, if you take that team out of the playoffs, you will get pumped, and that's a fact.
It's very, very true. And if we face a team, just a physical team like the 49ers in the playoffs, we know that Aaron Rodgers can't function against them in the playoffs. It's pretty simple like that. The Eagles, you know what I mean? Even the Cowboys.
Emily's available if you're needing a wide receiver.
Aye.
He can play offensive tackle.
I think so. We're tougher than some of those guys in there.
The green team. Don't you touch the green team.
All right, let's keep rolling. On to your team now, and I'll let you talk. Jaguars 27, Colts 34. When you go.
This is those major issues. Major issues. That was a game yesterday where we put a goose egg on. We put a goose egg on them the first time. So I wasn't expecting a goose egg. I'm going to be honest. I was expecting a better performance. I will accept defeat. You know this. I've said it countless times on the show. I'll accept defeat, but I won't accept no effort.
You've got to accept defeat as a Jags fan, to be fair. So
No, I don't mean that in a bad way. It doesn't matter whether I was a Pittsburgh fan, a Bucks fan, whatever. I don't care what team I like. You got to. I'll accept defeat, but I'm not accepting no effort. And it started all swimmingly. The defense is doing all the defense can, technically, but apart from that, there is not an awful lot else at the moment with the Jaguars. And at one point we were talking them up that they were going to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that everyone's figured out the Jaguars now. And they have one game plan, and once that game plan goes and backfires, it's a bit like watching the Green Bay. Once they get punched in the mouth, they don't have a plan after that. And I just think that great result for the Colts. I mean, at one point, we were thinking that they were not going to be anywhere near challenging. They're back in it technically. I mean, that AFC South is basically wide open.
Yeah, no, it is. Really, really is.
And I think the Jaguars are in a lot of trouble now because especially next week. Next week they're facing a 5-1 team, and that could potentially be an issue next week. And I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Yeah, I think that the Colts showed a lot of grit to be able to respond early. Having been outscored 50-11 over the past 2 games against the Jaguars and being down 11 points early, you got to think there's a psychological factor in there. I mean, I know Green Bay would have packed in tools at that point, and if they were in the same situation. I was pretty impressed with how the Colts they responded. They had 29 points in their final 5 drives and only allowed the Jags to have like 6 points or something, or was it 19? I can't remember what the maths was, something like that. But regardless, that's no small feat. Matt Ryan had his best game passing as a Colt. You'd like to think he could pass it a little bit less. He was 42 for 58. I mean, he's going to be a little bit sore on the shoulder this morning. And I don't think he was particularly efficient with these passes. 389 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks is good. But, it's like, regardless.
This is the thing I don't like about the NFL statistics. We're backed up on our own 1 yard line. I drop into the end zone and throw a screen along the end zone line.
Yeah.
And he runs. I've got 99 yards. I've done nothing. I've thrown the thing about 2 foot.
Yeah. Stop padding. Yeah. I think, we said this week, it's like, ideally you wouldn't want your quarterback to be throwing more than maybe 35 times in a game if you could help it. Like, if the run game isn't working, okay, fair enough, you could bump that number a little bit, but nearly 60 times passing is just, it's not a game plan, it's not a tactic that can be sustained. It's gonna, like having the shoulder be injured, overuse of the shoulder can happen very, very easily at a quarterback position, especially with, a guy who's older, has been in the league a lot, and he's getting hit a lot this year. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I thought that the Jags ground game was pretty good. It was a bit of a silver lining. James Robinson.
Travis Etienne played well. Travis Etienne,
played.
I think because obviously last year he missed out. A lot of people were expecting, not knowing what to expect. But kids playing well, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. And Jermichael Hasty, he was pretty effective.
60-odd yards touchdown.
61 yards. And I thought that Trevor Lawrence, he had 2 rushing touchdowns today, something like that. I know he had 1, I'm sure.
He's making too many mistakes again.
I thought he looked better in this one. He didn't have any turnovers in this one, despite having 7 in his last 2 games. So that's positives.
I was talking to our guest about this, and his quote was, "You cannot win in this league making far too many mistakes." That's just a fact. And And, you know, he was expecting the Jaguars to struggle this year.
Mm.
You know, they have to basically next week for the Jaguars is must win. And I don't like to use that phrase, must win, but it is. Lose next week, and I think the season ends.
Yeah, there's a lot of season left. And, you know, when you say the AFC South's wide open,
I think that is what is saving them is the fact that the AFC South is open, because obviously you can technically make the playoffs and be crap.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we'll keep rolling. We have let's run the hurry up offense here. 3 games to finish up with here. So Vikings 24, Dolphins 16. I think the Dolphins are having absolutely no luck at quarterback. For the 3rd straight week, they're forced to turn to their backup going into the game. Skylar Thompson left early with a thumb injury. Teddy Bridgewater, obviously in concussion protocol. I don't know if he practiced too much this week. Was sacked 4 times and threw a pick, which I think was probably on Jalen Waddle, but it is on his stat line, so regardless, it doesn't really matter.
See, that's the thing. 1 o'clock, Kirk. 1 o'clock, Kirk.
Never bet against them.
Gotta love 1 o'clock, Kirk. And you know how high I am on this guy. I'm actually thinking of getting a Vikings jersey. But then again, he wears number 8.
Yeah, there you go.
Is this fascination?
There's real logic about this. I thought the Vikings defense was pretty good. They forced 3 turnovers.
They've not got a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, did he get one at the end? I was going to work. But
I don't think so. He didn't have many points for me on fantasy, but regardless, it doesn't really matter because I won on fantasy. Do you know who I beat? Yeah,
you beat me, but then again, I'm not used to fantasy.
Right, okay.
I mean, I'm not used to this auction thing. I wasn't. It's the first time I've ever done that before. So I mean, I'm a rookie still.
To be fair, my team is pretty stacked. So yeah. But no, I thought the Vikings defense was really good. They forced 3 turnovers, held the Dolphins to just 4 conversions on 14 third downs. Jalen Waddle did have some key mistakes, but this was much more comfortable for the Vikings than compared to their last couple of games, which I think is good for them more than anything. I think they needed this win, and more of a convincing win than they've had the past couple of weeks.
Obviously helped as well. Not having a dig, helped by obviously a Packers defeat. And obviously winning week 1 as well opens up a bit of a gap in that NFC
Yeah,
North.
that's essentially a 3-game lead in the NFC North now.
It's theirs to throw now.
I think so, yeah. But we have seen crazier things. But with the Packers, the way the Packers are playing right now, I'm not too confident.
You could put in the top 10.
Yeah. All right, we can do this. Bengals 30, Saints 26. I thought Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase was as lethal as we've seen them all season. 7 connections for 132 yards and 2 scores, including 60-yard game winner. That was my lock that came through. Vikings came through in your lock, so everybody's all tied. The locks at 4-2, which is very good news. Yes, 60-yard game winner for Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow finished the game 28 for 37 for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Can I don't want to take it away for the Bengals' great win. Can we talk about the Saints? Who's Andy Dalton going to throw to him? What happens in the first drive? He throws a touchdown. I mean,
this is a revenge game for Andy Dalton against his old team.
Sorry?
This is a revenge game for Andy Dalton against his old team.
That's actually his first defeat against one of his old teams.
Oh, yeah? Oh, there you go.
But Andy Dalton, again, he's serviceable.
Yeah, he's better than Jameis right now. I'm sorry.
You're better than Jameis Winston.
Yeah, true.
I mean, but, you know, I think the Saints, now that they're starting to realise what their identity is, that's what we talk about a lot in this show, identity and culture. When you discover what your identity is, whether it's a run first, pass first, whether it's an Aaron Rodgers identity, which is throw a temper tantrum, whether it's a Kyler Murray turned up in a lime green suit at a game. That's your identity, and you have to stick with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the Bengals, obviously, they were the big winners yesterday because of, and we'll get onto it, the Browns losing, the Ravens losing. We'll get to that soon.
Yeah.
The other thing, but great win for the Bengals, and again, bounces back for last week.
Yeah.
And technically levels out last week with obviously the Ravens losing this week.
Yep.
But winning last week, so it levels it out. That again, AFC North is wide open again.
Yeah. I thought that the Saints run game did almost steal this one. 200 total yards rushing as a team. Kamara, Ingram, Hill, and Shaheed all chipped in and brought some stability to a pretty dwindling Saints offense. I know Andy Dalton threw a touchdown pass, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable, but good rushing effort by them, and they almost stole it. All right, let's hit this last game, and then we'll go for a break. Ravens 20, Giants 24. To me, you just got to give Brian Daboll Coach of the Year now already. Giants are 5-1 for the first time since 2009, and they've looked absolutely excellent while doing it.
And just give Daniel Jones the MVP.
It continues the way he's playing. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to get big money, but he's going to stay in New York for another year.
See, do you know, my missus is just saying, can you shut up about this guy, Daniel Jones?
Hear him one more time.
Her quote to me the other night was, "You talk about Daniel Jones more than you talk about me."
It's like that video of that Man United fan having a breakdown about Haaland.
But Daniel Jones is playing well. And, I think this year, when we talk about it, episode 25, I think it was, I discussed Daniel Jones. And I said he had everything, it was up to him. He's basically playing for his career.
Yeah.
That's it. He's playing for his career. And he's got, now that he's finally got everything he needs, he's actually good. I mean, he's not going to throw the thing 4,000 yards and 55 touchdowns and 6 picks. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but he's doing what he has to do. And I tipped the Giants at the start of the season to win the division.
They're second in the division now.
This is the problem you have, is because they don't actually play Philadelphia until week 14 and week 18. But Philadelphia's season will eventually evaporate, but we'll get to that tomorrow.
We'll see. Kind of last point on this, I thought the Ravens let it slip from their hands again. They were leading by 10 points in the fourth quarter. They allowed the Giants to go 75 yards for a touchdown. Lamar Jackson had a pick and a fumble right at the death. Wink Martindale game planned perfectly against his old team, and he's been the best assistant coach hired so far this season.
Exactly. So Giants 5-1. If I was Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones, I'd be booking my tickets to Arizona now.
That's it. Right, we'll hit a break, and then when we're back, we will touch the rest of the games on the Sunday slate and Monday Night Football. All right, Chris, your pal Kenny Pickett and the Steelers beating the Buccaneers 20-18. What was your thoughts?
I was happy for Kenny Pickett. To get that first NFL win's a big thing. It's not just different. Now, this is going to sound really bad against other quarterbacks. If he'd have beaten, no disrespect, Zach Wilson, or they've beaten, another rookie, then he's won. Well done.
Yeah.
But he beat the greatest of all time. And I mean, he got one touchdown, and they brought Mitch Trubisky in. He got a touchdown as well. Now, I don't know why they brought Trubisky. I don't know if Kenny Pickett got hurt.
He got a concussion, so he was ruled out.
That's fine then. So obviously he's had to bring him in. Now, that was a great chance for Trubisky to stake his claim and look, Mike, I'm still about.
Yep.
And again, I mean, Najee Harris in the passing game looked very good as well. So, I mean, great result for Pittsburgh. And, of course, they didn't even have TJ Watt, so they weren't exactly rushing with anybody who's brilliant.
Yeah. Like, make no mistake, this is an absolutely devastating result for the Buccaneers, not being able to finish this one. You know, Kenny Pickett did come out of the game, but he started well through his first career touchdown pass. 11 plays, 75 yards to start the game. And then Mitch came in after Kenny Pickett was ruled out with a concussion. He went 9 for 12, 144 yards, and did score the game-winning touchdown. And crucially, he didn't make any of his typical mistakes, which is very, very important. But yeah, the Buccaneers would love to have this one back, especially with their efficiency in the red zone. They converted just 1 of 4 visits and went 0 for 2 in goal-to-goal situations. They also failed on a 2-point conversion that proved crucial for the final result.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, when you don't make mistakes, it's easy to win in this league. Very easy. You know, the way I see it, the other guy can't score if you've got the ball.
Yep.
So keep it away from him. And I mean, great result for Pittsburgh. Does this now set them on some sort of run? I mean,
I think did they get TJ Watt back next week? Did he go on injured reserve? I think it's 6 weeks. So if he's ready, he'll be back next week. It keeps them afloat at the very least, keeps them alive. And obviously with the Browns and the Ravens losing, that's, essentially pulls them out of the hole and opens that division up again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all you can ask for at this stage. I mean, everyone thought Pittsburgh were at best picking number 10 next year.
Yeah.
No, they have a chance at doing something in that division. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the whole concussion protocol is, but I'm sure obviously it will result in Kenny Pickett, Mitch starting on Sunday.
Most likely.
Against Miami. I mean, don't make mistakes and you'll win the game. Pretty simple.
You make it sound so easy. You could definitely be an offensive coordinator.
Well, if Matt Canada gets sacked,
there you go. Yeah, so good result for the Steelers. Like you say, keeps them kind of afloat and alive in the AFC, sneaking on that 7th seed. But there's a lot of football left to go, so we'll see. I'm sure the Ravens will definitely come out of this kind of dire situation they seem to find themselves in. But
it's only when they play decent quarterbacks.
Exactly. All right, that's the end of the 6 p.m. games. Let's dive on to the kind of later window. So we had the Panthers drop in one at SoFi, 24-10 against the Rams.
The Rams won. They weren't particularly efficient. I mean, they beat the Panthers. I'm not going to, start getting, my champagne corks out and throwing a party. They won.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to slate, the Rams winning, because winning at times can be difficult, but you're playing at the Panthers, who everything's basically a fire sale right now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Robbie Anderson's gone to the Cardinals.
Yep. Podcast strike again.
There's a rumour that CMC's leaving. He's going to Kansas. So, I mean, that's just cheating now. I mean, we can get onto that in the next couple of minutes, but no, got to say, win for the Rams, and of course, puts them now 3-3.
I think this is the kind of performance we were waiting to see from the Rams. Like you say, they weren't great, but I think they moved the ball pretty efficiently. They had touchdown drives of 5, 10, and 13 plays, and were 50% when facing third down. So it's a bounce back. This was a real get right game. You'd kind of think that if they dropped this one or even made it competitive, really, you'd think that there was a real problem with the Rams. But luckily, they did turn it around. Matt Stafford threw the 29th pick six in his career, which is now more than Drew Brees and Peyton Manning. But instead of downing tools, they did bounce back. And it's got to be encouraging for them and Sean McVay. I know they are 3-3, which combined with the Cardinals losing and the 49ers losing, again, it reopens that division, really. It's still wide open. And, the Cardinals, they did drop, we'll get into them in a second, but they did drop to 2-4. But, it's still wide open. Nobody's really taken a grasp to get ahead in that division.
But you haven't looked at next week, have you?
I think you did say this to me.
Cards on Thursday night. 49ers have the Chiefs. Seattle have your boyfriend, Herbert. And the Rams have got the week off.
Yeah.
So coming, Sunday, that division could be 3-4 everybody.
Yeah.
And the Rams doesn't count, obviously. They've got a bye, but...
Yeah. They could go top of the division without actually even playing.
Exactly.
If things all go their way. I think that on the Panther side of the ball, and I think I know how you're going to react to this. I think this offensive showing kind of vindicates Baker Mayfield to a degree. Yes, he's played poorly, but it shows that it's not all been on him. And PJ Walker went 10 for 16 passing for 60 yards. I mean, they obviously plan to use him in a limited fashion and try and, get as much out of CMC as they could. I think that's also a reflection on the offensive weapons, and the fact that there's disharmony, which was proved by Robbie Anderson getting into a shouting match with the wide receiver coach and being sent to the locker room for the rest of the game, kind of basically showed that this Panthers offense, they're not all together. They're not a cohesive unit, which is all on the same side. Obviously Robbie Anderson was traded to the Cardinals on Monday for a very, very cheap price. It was a 2024 6th round and a 2027 7th round.
Something like that, yeah.
You got to wonder why a team like the Packers couldn't have stumped that up. I'm sorry.
Aaron Rodgers needs the money.
But, yeah, I think that it just kind of shows that the Panthers have been so hopeless, and it's not all been on Baker, really. If that was in doubt, I think it's been put to bed with yesterday, because the Panthers just, their only touchdown was a defensive touchdown.
I know, that's fine. I'll keep the trap shut.
Yep, good man. Yeah, nothing really else to say about that game. Typical what you wanted to see from the Rams and what we expected from the Panthers at this rate. They're well on their way. I think they are now number 1 in the draft right now, as it stands.
They're 1-5.
1-5. Raiders are 1-4, who are on a bye this week, obviously, and the Texans, I think, we're on a bye as well. They're 1-3-1. So Panthers picking number 1. So as I say, Bryce Young Panthers jerseys, Owen, Maria, get them printed. I'll order them off DHgate for you.
I'm telling you right now, if I was Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, don't go to Carolina. But anyway, that's for months down the line.
That's an off-season program.
Yeah,
we should do a retrospective on this Panthers team, really, because there is a lot of talent here. Obviously, CMC, we know him. If he can stay healthy, he's a huge factor. The receivers that they had are all really, really good. DJ Moore's just kind of gone missing. The offensive line could have done with maybe a little bit of help, but regardless. Baker Mayfield, we know we can see from Baker Mayfield, if he's on a team where it's talented, which the Panthers are, he can get you into good places like he did with the Browns. And the defense is pretty good as well. JC Horn's been statistically the best corner in the league through PFF through 6 weeks. So I think that's something we should take a look at, see how it's all gone so wrong for them so spectacularly. I don't even think the most pessimistic Panthers fans could have seen 1-5 through 6 weeks.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I think 3-3 really should have been the floor for them at this rate. But regardless, that is, like we say, that's an off-season program and just something we're floating out there. It could be an interesting one. Maybe we'll get Owen for that one, the Napier Knights hero. But we'll keep going. We'll talk about Kyler now. His Cardinals dropping the game against the Seahawks 19-9, with a weird scoreline. Not too sure about that one, but I think that was a pathetic showing from the Cardinals offense. The Seahawks had the worst defense in the league by pretty much every metric going into the game. They couldn't muster one touchdown with 315 total yards. Just, you think that is a lot of this down to DeAndre Hopkins not being there? Well, no, because they have won games against, with the Raiders are, everybody saying, are a good team. And, it took Kyler Murray being a magician to pull that one out the bag, which they did. But again, it's just one of those things. They just get too much talent on the offensive side of the ball to be losing this. And, now they've traded for Robbie Anderson and DeAndre Hopkins is coming back. That changes what we see from this Panthers offense.
But Hollywood Brown could be out for 6 weeks.
Oh, really?
6 weeks to the season out.
Jeez. What is it? Is it an ankle injury?
Jumped for a jump ball and the Seattle defender landed on him. got a sting in the morning. So it looks that's Adam Schefter reported that one.
Oh, right. Well, it might just be an accumulation of information then rather than actually facts if it's from him. So,
Well, you don't believe Schefter then?
No, I don't. I'm not too happy with Schefter. I think he kind of lets the importance of breaking story first get in the way of being compassionate in some things. But again, that's for another podcast. I thought Kenneth Walker was great. As I've been saying all season, he's finally arrived in this game. This is his first career start. Obviously, the Seahawks lost Rashad Penny for the season. And he's paid back the faith in Pete Carroll by contributing 97 rushing yards and a touchdown on 21 carries. So, considering he was essentially fourth on the depth chart starting the season with Travis Homer, DJ Dallas, and obviously Rashad Penny ahead of him, to come out like this and kind of basically show this was the wrong decision. This is good to see from Kenneth Walker.
Oh, it was a good game to watch. I pick a game every Sunday night because obviously at this stage there's only maybe sometimes 2 or 3 games on at that time, and I'm not sitting watching Red Zone and bing 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 between 3 games. It's boring.
Yeah.
So I'll just pick a game and watch it. So I've been watching the Cardinals just because someone I know likes Kyler Murray, and Kyler's got an awful lot of problems, but without D-Hop is an issue. Now, D-Hop's back Thursday.
Is he going to be 100%?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. D-Hop will be fine. I think what the Saints will probably do is just put Marshawn Lattimore up against him. So you throw it to the other side.
Yeah. Robbie Anderson. If he plays, he might not play just 100% while he's learning the playbook.
Oh my goodness, he's a professional wide receiver.
I think he might play. Just it might be in quite a limited fashion. It's going to be hard to learn a playbook in 3 days. That's if he started already.
Just run a straight line.
Bake your own cake route. Kyler Murray's a magician. He can figure it out.
Exactly.
But no,
just gamble about.
Yeah, exactly. I think that 2-4. All things considered, with the defense for the Cardinals and their kind of shortcomings on offense, is they're short-handed to an extent.
Short quarterback.
With a short quarterback, yeah. I don't think 2-4 is the worst thing. It's not an ideal situation to be in, but with the division still being wide open because nobody wants to really take advantage of when they've got a kind of a lead. I think it's still wide open for the Cardinals to get in here.
Oh, of course. I mean, I said 3-3, so I was wrong there. But 2-4 is not the worst thing in the world. But
yeah,
I said to my dad on Sunday, and I stick by this prediction: we'll lose on Thursday, and the season's done for Arizona.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you could be surprised. I think you've got to have faith in your pal, Kyler. I think things get figured out because I don't know. I mean, every other team in the division has like a glaring flaw, like the Seahawks defense. I think I've seen enough from Gino to basically say this is, the bare minimum is he will keep you in games and make you competitive. So it's really the Seahawks defense at this point is their weak link. The Rams offensive line against any other pass rush in the league, Matthew Stafford doesn't get a sniff in. And the 49ers, I think they've been pretty inconsistent on offense. With Jimmy G, despite him being so experienced, they're not. I don't think they've got Deebo Samuel involved to an extent that they'd like. So I don't know. I think losing, it's not an ideal scenario. I think a division title could be out of reach. Could just be outreached if they do lose on Sunday. It's Thursday, but I wouldn't say the season's over by any stretch.
Okay.
But it's to say because there is, and that's not even just down to the fact that the division's wide open. It's the fact that there's still 11 games to go. So
I know, but I'm upset though because of the game after that, week 8. Don't like it.
What's week 8?
I've got my friend Kyler up against 1 o'clock Kirk.
Oh, okay.
It's the same as next week. I'm not happy either.
Yeah. Daniel Jones, is it?
Daniel Jones against Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, of course. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a lot of waffle for a game which didn't really have much in it, but
Yeah, I know.
good to go off and talk about things like this. We disagree on things. We're not always on the same page with our opinions, and that's good.
Right,
I know
let's go.
it's not clearly fixed like Skip and Shannon where they disagree on everything and it's just for TV and it's pathetic, but regardless. Right then, let's go into what was game of the year essentially in the playoffs in January. Bills Chiefs, the rematch at Arrowhead. Bills coming out 24-20 winners.
What a game! Now that game, what we normally say when we look at the preview show, we go, this game's going to be about the offense and the defense and who's got better players. No. That game is about who has the ball last.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs can score a touchdown with 55 seconds left. Now, against 30 of the other quarterbacks in the league, that's fine. You've won the game there.
Yeah.
Against Josh Allen, that's far too much time, and that's enough time for Patrick to get the ball and go up the other end.
Again, yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. Now, that should be the AFC title game. It should be.
Is it going to be in Buffalo though? Should be.
Should be in Buffalo. However, Buffalo will possibly find a way to mess it up. And I think if they played again, I think the Chiefs would win. The reason why they lost was because of one man, Von Miller.
He's been worth every penny so far.
Oh, I put a thing on Facebook about 2 years ago. If you could have one player from the whole league on your team, regardless of payment, whatever, who would you pick? And a lot of them did say Von Miller.
Yeah.
Von Miller is arguably the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah.
But again, because he's in Buffalo and there's all Diggs and Allen and stuff, he doesn't get talked about, which is Von Miller's game. But great result for Buffalo. And I think the AFC is theirs to lose now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think that I did watch the kind of start of the game, but I was working early on Sunday morning, so I didn't manage to watch all of it, which I'm disappointed with. But I thought both offenses kind of started off pretty slow, just a little bit afraid to make a mistake, and it kind of worked. It kind of seemed that they did make a mistake. I think the Bills weren't too inspiring to start the game. Patrick Mahomes threw an interception, and I think Mahomes kind of has to be disappointed with this one more than anything. He had a pick on his opening drive and on his final play, and that sealed the game for the Bills. He went 25 for 40, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 INTs. So not a typical Mahomes performance, but again, this is against a great defense, which was only allowing like 12 points per game. So it's like you say, I think if this one plays again, maybe it's a different outcome. The Chiefs win this one. And I thought the important factor again here was that the Bills' defense didn't allow the noise coming into this game to affect them. They'd heard all off season about it's your fault, the rules changed. Patrick Mahomes whipped you and all you want, and as Josh Allen put the Bills into the lead at Arrowhead right at the end, Mahomes and the Chiefs had 64 seconds as opposed to just 13 like in the playoffs. But this time, Bills defense made the play. And that's kind of exercising their demons. That's something, if the rematch comes again in the playoffs, that's going to be out their minds. Because I think, no matter how much you get yourself prepared, a huge, essentially traumatizing event like what happened to the Bills in the last playoff game in January would be in the back of everybody's minds, all the fans on both sides. And you think that it doesn't matter what we do, we cannot stop this guy. But this time they did. And I think that should the AFC title game be held between these two, that's going to be a factor. As in, the defense doesn't just melt away.
Well, I'm going to speak to Roger Goodell and say, can we just have that as a Super Bowl?
It would be interesting. I think, like, you know, we say that the AFC is way more competitive, and it would be. I think that, you know, put either of these teams up against any team in the NFC, and either of these teams walk the park right now, even the Eagles.
Mm.
But although I do think the Buccaneers will figure things out. But that was that game. We hope we do get a postseason rematch. I'm sure we will, because it's just, you know, these two are the young guns right now. This is the new Brady Manning, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right then. Sunday night football. Cowboys 17, Eagles 26.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to say. Good.
Mm.
Jalen Hurts actually. It's the first time I've actually really seen Jalen Hurts, because seeing him on Red Zone, as we say, is different. You know, you see the highlights. No, this was the first time I actually saw him the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Played well. Again, I thought at times though he at times he struggled a wee bit, and that's going to happen against a great defense such as the Cowboys.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not elite. It's good. It's great. But if we look at the other side of the ball, Dallas have issues. Now, the big question's Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
A yes or no answer from you. Does Dak start next week?
Yes, if he's healthy, and 100%. Okay. Yes.
I disagree.
Yeah.
They have Detroit. They have Chicago. Then they have a bye. Okay. Cooper Rush should be good enough to beat Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah.
Why not? Why risk Dak coming back? He lands awkward on that hand or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because after the bye, they play some mob. I mean, they play the Packers. Yeah. I would want a healthy Dak for that.
I would want a healthy Dak for that, considering I'm going there.
Yeah, but
I'd never thought about it like that, to be fair. I just think that if he's healthy, you got to get him back. I think if he is healthy, they and he is 100%, and that is, you know, if he's 99%, you got to sit him, because you want him back at full strength, regardless of who you're playing. That's one of my points here. Is I think if he's back at full strength, no matter when he comes back, because Cooper Rush has proved that he can fill in just fine. And against some good defense, you know, you know, the Rams are a good defense. The Eagles are a good defense. And well, this wasn't Cooper Rush's finest hour. He still, you know, it was more Zeke, but he did essentially bitch the Rams defense to the tune of 22 points. So, you know, it's one you think about as in, like, it makes sense. You don't want to rush Dak back. And that is even if he is 99%. Get him to 110%, ready to play the Pack in week 10. Go to Lambeau. Mike McCarthy's return wants to, you know, Mike McCarthy wants to spoil the party, which I think he probably is going to do this, right? Why not have your starting quarterback 100% for that game? And I think if Dak isn't 100%, Cooper Rush does start in the next 2 weeks. Now you put it that way. On the Eagles side, let me talk about this. I think they're still to put together a full game. But fortunately for them, they do have the team that can just fuck around and find out. You know, they've averaged 5.8 points in the second half of games, which is not good. Now, they, like you say, they have the defense which can bail them out of a situation, and they've been effective enough in the first half. I think it's about 21 points they've averaged in the first half. So what concerns me is Jalen Hurts' passing numbers. He was fine. Again, he's making the throws that he needs to make. He went 15 for 25, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. But that, he's developed as a passer, but the numbers aren't backing that up. And I know that doesn't matter. They're 6-0. He's not going to care because he's the ultimate team player. But it worries me in a point where, in a situation, he is they're essentially begging the Eagles to throw. Could he make that killer throw? Could he make that one killer throw that he need? And fortunately, he's proven he can so far. But is it a formula that can be sustained
against another defense? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If he came out against that Buffalo defense,
exactly, yeah.
If he came out against the Chiefs at 100%, he'd struggle.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the NFC that I think can challenge them defensively.
Mm-hmm.
According to you, during the offseason, the Packers, but don't know what happened to them.
Bill Barry.
There's nobody else in the NFC, really.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to go 17-0?
I don't know where they lose. That's the thing. Like, you know, now it's like I think with their schedule the next couple of weeks, they've got to be favorites to be at least 10-0. You know what I mean?
Whoa! They lose in week 14.
Oh, is this they play Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We shall see. But like I say, I think that now that they've played, the Cowboys fans have essentially just been saying they haven't played anybody. Well, now they have. They played yous and they beat yous. So the Eagles are for real. And whether you want to take that gracefully or not, that's up to you. So the Eagles are for real. But when they can put together 4 quarters, which I think they'll be able to figure out over the next 4 weeks and be 10-0 in the 4 weeks' time, the Eagles, you know, why would you not bet for them to be 16-1 at the very least?
15-2.
15-2, yeah, do you know what I mean?
Week 14 and 18 they lose. Week 14 and week 18 they lose.
You should put a bet on it. Giants money line in both games. Despite their struggle, they did struggle in the second half. They were up by about 20 points in the first, and then it kind of got chipped away. Despite that, they did put together an impressive 13-play, 75-yard touchdown drive, which gobbled up about 7 minutes on the clock. They had about 14 minutes left in the fourth, and it was only 7 and a bit left, and that kind of just put it out of the Cowboys' reach.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, like I say, I don't think there's any doubt now that the Eagles are for real, and you know, put Eagles money line the next 4 weeks, and I think you should be happy with your returns, to be quite honest.
Right.
All right.
Last game.
Let's do it. Let's get on to this final game. Broncos in prime time for the 4th time in 6 weeks, and thankfully they lost again because they're grounded. Chargers 19, Broncos 16.
It was a heap of crap. Again. Russell made throws. I mean, the one to is it Greg Dulcich, the tight end for the touchdown? Great throw.
Yeah.
There's one that throws to Jerry Jeudy as well. Great throw. But they don't do it enough. On the other side of the ball, Justin Herbert, we know what we're coming to expect from Justin Herbert now. Winning that game's big, of course, because obviously in division game you have to win them. I think Denver's season's done.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, thankfully, at the very least, we won't see them on primetime again until week 14. And you'd hope, I don't know if that's Sunday Night Football, but if it is, let's hopefully it gets flexed out for something else.
Yeah. Eagles Giants.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. Do you know what I mean? It could be a primetime game.
Daniel Jones is prime time.
We did see glimpses of the old Russell Wilson, I thought, in the first quarter. He went 10 for 10, 116 yards and a score. But then after that, he was just 5 for 18, 72 yards. And it's not enough. And unfortunately, it's the kind of thing that makes you think that Seattle wins this trade. Now, I said the Broncos won this trade in the offseason, I'm pretty sure, but the Seahawks, for right now, are sitting at 3-3. Broncos are a decrepit 2-4.
And because of the way that division is, that is season done, technically. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett will be fired.
We want it done, you think?
I've got I have 4 coaches being fired at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. Who are they?
Nathaniel Hackett's one.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it doesn't turn around for them, I think Josh McDaniels will be shown the door.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lovie Smith could be shown the door.
Lovie Smith, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go on an outside chance. If they don't make the playoffs, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can see it. I could add Kevin Stefanski to that list.
The other one on a real outside chance, Matt LaFleur.
No chance.
No, I just mean they're struggling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't make the playoffs.
Mm. I mean, I'd be disappointed, but who knows?
Why?
This is a business. It's not like it would be something crazy. But that's an off-season show. Well, I say that's probably a different show. That's after the regular season finishes. That kind of show.
If Matt LaFleur gets fired, me and you're taking over.
Yeah. On this game, the Broncos defense has been holding down this horrible offense. They're the third-ranked defense in the league, and this game was no different. They allowed just 297 total yards of offense. Now, the Broncos offense, everybody knows it's terrible, right? But they're dead last in these metrics. They're 32nd in points per game, touchdowns scored, red zone efficiency, penalties per game, penalty yards, false starts, and they're 30th in third down conversion. This is a historically horrible offense. And with a guy like Russell Wilson, it's like nobody could have seen this coming. Other than it seems to have been Seattle.
And this was a team that was supposed to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people did have them. The defense is good enough to win the Super Bowl. I just, maybe outside of pass rush, this defense is as good as their 2015 won the Super Bowl. And you'd think that with the quarterback that was very poor in 2015, obviously Peyton Manning was diabolically bad. You'd think that something, maybe lightning strikes twice, but the offense just can't seem to do anything. And now Javonte Williams is obviously done for the season. They froze Melvin Gordon out. I wonder if he's on the trade block, perhaps. You'd think that a guy as reliable and experienced as him would eat up the chance to become a running back one again. But it seems that they've decided to go a different direction.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, where does it go to be running back one?
Yeah, exactly. Finally, in this game, just on the other side of the ball, fed up talking about Denver. I think the Chargers are kind of really struggling to deal with J.C. Jackson's bad play. He was benched at halftime for Michael Davis, who I thought was all right. He was pretty good, but the $82.5 million deal that they gave Jackson in the offseason is currently not returning any value for a guy that was viewed to be one of the best corners in the league.
No,
kind of forced his way out of New England, and it's not working out so far.
But they've got the win.
That's it. Yep. But it's against Russell Wilson.
Can't wait for next week's Monday night.
Yes. Oh, that's going to be exciting. Patriots, Bears. Fun times.
I've got to watch it every snap.
I'm not going to watch it. I not even just because I'm working. I'm just not going to watch it. Boring. Although that's like we say, it's going to be another stamp on your loyalty cards to get us to. Roger Goodell's going to hear about it and then going to give us 2 VIP passes for the Super Bowl.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the amount of crap I've had to watch. Every single snap.
It's like a loyalty card. Like you go on Starbucks, you get enough coffees, and you get a free one. That's what it's going to be. You watch enough shite games, and you'll get a free great one.
Oh, honestly.
Right, Ed.
Doing a live podcast from State Farm.
I think so. Right, that's it for this episode of the End of the Fourth Football Podcast. Thank you very much for hanging out with us, as you always do. Check out the Facebook page, which is End of the Fourth Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, which is at End of the Fourth Pod. On Twitter, it's the same thing, but instead of the word fourth, it's 4TH, Fourth End of the Fourth Pod. Check out the Let's Talk Sports Network on Twitter. They're at Let Talk Sport, and they are on YouTube as well. They're down in the description. If you want to check them, they have live shows every day talking about NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, association football, cricket, rugby, boxing, golf, cricket. I said cricket, I think, but it'll be there. You want to start your own show like us, be part of the Let's Talk Sport Network and family. Get on Dan on Twitter. He's desperate. If you're into running, he's looking for running podcasts, running shows, that kind of thing. If you've coached it, if you do it competitively, if you run a marathon, whatever, get on to Dan. He wants you. But Chris, thank you as always.
Yep. Prez signing off.
That's it. And from me, B-Hizzy, ciao for now.